Hi, KRONIK TV. Will again, back with one of my favorite writers in all of the world, Drew Millard. He used to be an editor at Vice and Noisey, Vice's music website. He's now a freelance writer living in Durham, North Carolina. What are you doing out in Durham? It doesn't seem like a place a lot of freelance writers would go to.
Well, to be honest, dog, I'm not doing a whole lot. No, I would say that more freelance writers should live in not Los Angeles and New York, simply for the fact that most freelancers do live in LA and New York. And so I have found that there are less stories to be done in Durham, but no one else is trying to do them. So whenever there is a story, I just get it.
Yeah.
Like, last fall, when all the craziness with the North Carolina State Legislature was going down, because I was in North Carolina, and it's easy if you live there to get in touch with people who are involved in politics there, I was just able to kind of automatically get all these assignments about Roy Cooper's kind of battle with his legislature after his election. After the KKK announced it would have a rally in Pelham, North Carolina, it was easy for me to get that assignment because I was already there, and I could go cover the anti-fascist actions against those guys. Or when John Darnielle, the lead singer of the Mountain Goats, came out with a new album, and there was a need to profile him. He lives in Durham, and so instead of having to justify my pitch versus my idea versus 15 other people who wanted to profile this guy, my pitch was just, I'm here. Yeah, I live next door to the guy, and therefore, not next door, but I live in the same town as the guy, so my story will automatically be better because I'm already there on the ground. And in every city in America, there's a ton of culture, a ton of things going on, a ton of interesting people, and tons of issues that are of national importance that can be written about for a national audience by a freelance writer living there locally. Like, for example, in 10 states right now, there are laws being considered that are designed to combat protesters. Like, I believe in Michigan, there's a law that says if there's someone protesting and they're in the road, you can hit them with your car and kill them, and it's okay.
Psycho stand your ground type deal.
Yeah. And, in a situation like that, and there's 10 of these laws being considered. So in those 10 states, you need a writer who lives in that state, understands those issues, and can explain them to a national audience. And they will be more good at doing the writing good than the reporter from New York
who just gets assigned to do it.
Yeah. They don't understand. It's like taking a fucking saltwater fish and throwing it in a pond, and the New York writer is the saltwater fish, and they don't understand how to breathe the non-salt water with their writer gills, so they just die. Emotional
investment is important, I'd say.
Yeah, and also local expertise. It is a real thing. You cannot learn everything by Googling. You need to have on the ground experience with a lot of issues, especially to compete on a national level.
And when did you first realize that you could compete on a national level as a freelance writer?
I don't know. That's a good question that I don't have an answer to. I don't think that I am necessarily a competitive freelance writer. I think that I have kind of carved out a couple niches, especially by not being in New York, that I can provide a service that editors are looking for. But yeah, I don't know if there was a moment where I was oh yeah,
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing good at writing.
And I do like your blog name, drewscoolblog.com.
Oh, thank you. That reminds me, I need to renew it. My WordPress domain is about to expire.
You don't want to lose that fire URL.
I know, I don't, but also I haven't written a post on my cool blog in 6 months. So...
Fair enough. Well, we'll have to get back on the horse.
Yeah, I know, I need to. I used to, once a week, post a cool song that I thought was good and cool. Mm-hmm. But I guess I just haven't listened to any good and cool songs in the past 6 months. So all you rappers and bands and DJs out there, I know you're watching. You need to stop sucking at music and do good at it.
And so, we went to college, graduated college. Did you start writing right after that? Did you have odd jobs? What was your path like to get to Vice?
So I actually, my junior year in college, I studied abroad in London. Mm-hmm. And through this weird program, they basically required you to get an internship. Mm. And I was I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a fiction writer all throughout college. I have a creative writing minor. I got a film minor, but I forgot to file the paperwork, so I don't have a film minor. And I did communications because it seemed like the easiest thing to do. But yeah, my junior year of college, I studied abroad. They were you have to get an internship as part of this studying abroad. And they had seen that on my resume, I was oh, I'm a college radio DJ and I want to be a writer. And so they hooked me up with this magazine called DJ Magazine. Nice. Because, they see DJ and they see writer and they're oh, well, okay. And it was a great deal because the magazine had to hire me because they had a deal with the study abroad program. Nice. And so it turns out DJ Magazine is a dance music magazine, and I had no idea about dance music at the time. So I spent the summer having to learn about dance music. Mm-hmm. And because they all were British bros who liked to party and were super lazy, DJ Magazine, hey guys, they just started letting me write features for them because they just
no one else wanted to do it.
Yeah, they were just well, this intern, he doesn't know anything about music, but he seems to know how to put a sentence together, and so this is okay. And so yeah, they had me do a couple pieces for them, and after that I started freelancing for them my senior year of college. From there I went up to New York. I did this thing called the Summer Publishing Institute. Mm-hmm. Which was a certificate program at NYU. It is basically you pay $5,000 in exchange for the right to put NYU on your resume and not lie. And so from there, I got an internship at Time Out and this Time Out New York, which is kind of this weekly concert listing thing, culture magazine. And then I got an internship at this video game magazine called Kill Screen, nice. Which I found out yesterday might not exist anymore, which makes me really sad. And then I later got an internship at the Fader, which I was really fucking bad at. If anyone from the Fader is watching, I would like to apologize for the shittiness of my internship there. And from there, I kind of had enough experience in clips to start freelancing. I also had a non-viral blog.
Nice.
That was of rap fan fiction. So I would write about Drake driving his Acura to buy an issue of Details magazine and calling his agent in a tiff because he wasn't on the cover. And that it wasn't popular, but for some reason a dude at Pitchfork found it and liked it and hooked me up with his friend who worked at Vice.
Okay.
To write about rap music for them. And so from there I started freelancing for Vice, and at a certain point I was freelancing full time. I was writing fucking 3 blog posts a day for $50 each. just grueling, grinding, like it was a bad idea. Don't ever do that. I was making like $1,500 a month. My rent was $900. It was technically enough to get by. And then one day Noisey, their music site hits me up, and they're like, hey, we just bought the downstairs of our building and we have more room, and we now have a chair for a third person at Noisey. Do you want to have the job? And I was like, yes, that would be great, thank you. Mm-hmm. And so that's...
The rest is history.
Yeah. And then,
now you're freelancing again, but you're doing writing for Noisey. I think now's a good time to plug your current article, weekly.
Yeah.
What is that?
I read a column for Noisey called Future Days, which is sort of about the ways in which technology and kind of all of these other structural issues affect the way that we perceive music, and kind of affect the ways in which we engage with music, and I don't know, some other fucking pretentious pseudo grad school bullshit. But yeah, so far I've written, and it's called Future Days for the Can album of the same name. Everyone watching this should listen to Future Days by Can. Stop this right now. Fucking X out the window. Deny them that full play. And listen to Future Days by Can, because it is the bee's knees.
They're the best.
But yeah, so the first installment was about how kind of the concept of the feed is not conducive with kind of engaging with art. The second one was about how Father John Misty, kind of his new music tackles modernity. And the third one was about Insane Clown Posse and how kind of the inherent classism of the music internet media class prevents them from enjoying music that they would otherwise identify with.
And that's one of my favorite parts about your writing, is that you don't really have an issue with championing things that other people look down upon.
Thanks. I'd like to credit that to having terrible taste.
Like, was it Little Peep you had a big profile on, trying to figure out if he was in fact good or awful?
Yeah. I think I came down on he is post-good. He's post-music.
The first one. I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it up. Little Peep, not Little Dicky. Little Dicky sucks.
Yeah, Little Dicky and me got beef.
Little Peep, post-music. Drew Millard, post-writing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me on KRONIK
by KRONIK TV.